Welcome back to another episode of the JC Pod, presented by Stare Down Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell, and we got my guy here. We got some wood in the background. You know what the deal is. My guy, the red beard, Rowan Dives, Franklin Earl.
Yes,
How we
sir.
doing?
Man, doing gravy, baby. Friday night, one of my chill nights, They got the college hoops going hard on Saturdays, Sundays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Fridays, I like to just kick back and do nothing. But I'm doing great, though. How you doing?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad myself, just enjoying the little bit of lull before we get some NFL action this weekend, which I'm very excited
Hey,
about.
wild card weekend, baby.
Super wild card weekend at that, to make it even
You know what
better.
that means?
But before
9 weeks away from the madness.
9, that's unbelievable. That's honestly impossible to believe. That's half a football
Hey,
season.
not 9 more Fridays, bro, and this will be the second day of the tournament.
And think about it. After Super Bowl's over, we done pretty much. All of a sudden, it's March Madness.
Nah, yeah. I mean, I love football, but if you wait till after the Super Bowl to jump into college basketball, you're going to be missing out on a beautiful month of basketball. I mean, just the first week of conference play, as most anybody that's even kept an ear to anything seen, it's crazy. All the teams losing numbers by your name mean absolutely nothing with the new transport portal and NIL deals and just the way that the landscape is, the way these kids are raised into playing ball 24/7, and it's just a beautiful thing for the sport, beautiful thing for the competition.
What even is a top five? That's pretty much the first question. I mean,
Right.
you already teased. That's pretty much what we're getting into. I mean, what number two, one, two, I think four.
Everything but number four. One, two, three, and five. All took a dirt nap this week, all on the road. Number four, UConn actually got a victory on the road. Covered it by a hook, baby, against I forget it was Xavier. Minus 4.5 and going down
Yeah.
5. Um, but yeah, it'd be crazy. I think UConn will be the number one team. A lot of people are saying Kentucky should be up there. It's really going to come down to tomorrow. Kentucky takes on Texas A&M, and then I forget who UConn plays, but I mean Kentucky should take care of A&M on the road. Either way, it's still too early for it to really matter. But I think UConn should be the number one team in the country come Monday.
No doubt. Like, there's nobody else who's really going to be able to. I mean, assuming all of them lose, yeah, I would assume there's no way nobody else can overtake it, right? It has to be UConn.
Uh, yeah, I mean if UConn wins their game this weekend, they should be number one. They're the only team in the top five that didn't lose. They're in a tough conference, the Big East, which is literally a landslide. You'd be surprised. You want to know how good the Big East this year is? Seton Hall, St. John's, both tied with UConn right now with only one loss in conference play.
Yeesh.
Uh, Two teams nobody had in October. Of course, everybody on Marquette and Creighton and UConn, which that was even bananas. You talk about conference play. The first week of Big East play, Marquette, UConn, and Creighton all start off 0-1.
That's
I mean,
wild.
we were set up from there for what we're getting
Did you
now.
have that on your bingo card? I didn't.
Right. I would have probably bet against it if we're being honest, and bet a lot. If you would have told me I could take Marquette, Creighton, and UConn to all just not lose their first Big East game, I would have definitely took it
Man, I
in a
wonder what the
heartbeat.
odds
But
would
nah,
that would have been.
yeah, it's still crazy. But there's some teams that are looking amazing. You got teams like Utah State that I haven't heard one person talk about. That's on a 14-game win streak, 3-0 in conference play.
Woo!
Right now tied with San Diego State at the top of the Mount West. Teams like Akron, who are doing their thing undefeated in conference play. Like I said, it's still early, 3, 4 games in for most of these teams, but we are set up for a wild basketball season. And I think this tournament this year is going to be one of the most exciting in recent history. Just because, I mean, we saw it last year. That was one of the most exciting in recent history. Getting the San Diego State and UConn final, and even some teams like Kansas State making a run to the Elite Eight. There were some storylines last year that was amazing. Florida Atlantic, of course. Your heartbreaking Fairleigh Dickinson in the first round. So I think we're
Man,
set up for an even more adventurous
gotta hide
tournament
myself
this
when you talk
season.
about Purdue, boy. That man,
I was like, what is he doing?
a
Yeah, I
shame,
stopped because
boy.
I was like, wait, he's going.
Got me a
I love
shame,
Purdue,
man.
man. They breaking my heart this year because I really believed in them
Me
this year. I
too.
usually don't believe in them. you look at just the perimeter defense needs to step up. I hate to say it, being a white boy myself, but sometimes white boys just a half a step slow, and when you hold backcourt as white boys, you might get beat by some elite guards in the country,
Yeah,
which is what we saw the other night.
it would take a freak athlete out there to, you know. Yeah, basically that's the best way to put it. Take freak athletes, the guard some of these freak athletes out there. And as much as I love Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith, I don't know if they scream. I'm not saying they ain't
Oh
athletic,
yeah,
but I don't
I
know
was
if
about
they
to say, don't get me
scream.
wrong, absolute dogs. I love both of them players. What they bring to the table. Yeah, I would love to have them on my team if I was a coach or a player. Great players. Just sometimes you get got. Sometimes your God-given ability is your kryptonite or your Achilles heel, and you can't do nothing about it but try harder.
Hey, and them boys sometimes they can stroke it. That's the best part. Purdue plus 800, Arizona plus 1,000, UConn plus 1,100, Houston plus 1,100, North Carolina plus 1,700, Auburn plus 1,700. Which one do you like out of all that? If you had to put $50 on somebody today,
I'll tell you right now, Auburn, throw them in the trash. Purdue, put them by the trash. I don't think Houston has the depth or the big man ability to make a real deep run. They might make it to the Sweet 16, but I don't see Houston as a serious threat either. They got a freshman big man who's talented, but just looks lost out there. And when he's in there in clutch time, it's kind of 4-on-5 on both ends. Two teams that I like. I've been saying all year UConn might be the best team in the nation. I think they're definitely poised for a back-to-back. Donovan Clingan has disappointed me in his
man.
personal performance, but the team as a whole still is one of the best teams in the country. But if I had to choose one team, right now it'd be North Carolina. Last three games in ACC play, they haven't let a team score over 57 points. I repeat, North Carolina has been playing defense at an elite level. Haven't let a team in the last three games score over 57 points. Um, that's remarkable because you look at UNC, North Carolina, and in my head, I think offense, offense, offense. Baycott gets a double double. RJ Davis drops 27, and the only way they can beat you is a race to 100. The fact that they've been winning with defense in the past week has definitely impressed me. If they can keep that up in March, there is no limit to this team. They're definitely one of the teams I have my eye on, not only to win it all, but to make it to the Final Four.
Man, yeah, you've been kind of been leaning me onto them a little bit, especially with that. They've been pretty impressive, and my boy Armando Baycott's still there, the double double machine.
Love it. He's
Love that
gonna.
boy.
He's one of those guys, man. That the rest of my life, I know he's not gonna be a great NBA player, but he's up there with Drew Timmy as one of the college greats.
Just about to say
That's
Drew
just the
Timmy.
most recent thing I could think of. I mean, you got guys like Luca Garza, of course, 4 or 5 years ago. It's crazy how time flies, man. I feel like I was just watching Luca Garza at Iowa.
Right. Seeing Trace Jackson Davis lead the Warriors and stats, like wow, that's something, huh?
Bro, I just seen him in a Warriors jersey. I'm just like, ugh? It
Yeah,
just don't look right. I didn't think he would make it to the. Well, I mean, it's a new league, though. I guess you can be an undersized big man with no jumper and make it. Who knows?
hey, shout out Dennis Rodman. That's the first guy that pops
if,
in my head when he said underside. I was like, hey, that boy played
hey,
defense though.
if Tracy Jackson Davis, I was about to say Ed Tracy Ellis Ross. Of course, that's an inside joke. What I've called him, but if Tracy Jackson Davis could get 20 rebounds a damn game, he's a great for sure. Albeit.
That would be pretty awesome. But yeah, moving on after that, just questions. Reactions to pretty much conference play and everything. What are some big, what are some top storylines you've seen coming out of conference play so far to start the year?
Two things that stand out to me the most that worry me. If you're talking supposedly powerhouses, Kansas's offense is non-existent. They don't have one player on their team that can go get a bucket when they need a bucket. And they're playing in a Big 12, which honestly, now that they got Houston and Cincinnati and a few other teams this year, might be the best conference or at least the deepest conference. So that scares me moving forward in the Big 12 as far as Kansas supposedly being the favorite all year to win that conference. But what I've seen is that any given night, these guys can lose and lose
Yeah.
bad. We just saw a 50-point loss last night from UCLA, which UCLA had struggled this season. But if you're telling me a mixed
Hey,
bunch of
hey,
teams
hey,
gonna
hey,
lose by
hey,
60,
hey. Say the number again. How much they lose by?
50,
UCLA. The last year, the
The
Pac-12
mighty
to
Bruins.
Utah. You can go.
I'm
I
gonna
just
tell
had
you
to.
this.
I had to
That's
put
what
some
breaks my
emphasis
heart the
on that.
most. That's what breaks my heart the most because it is the Pac-12 last year, and I want to see personally as a fan UCLA, USC, Arizona, and Oregon go at it. But what we're seeing is Arizona and Oregon go at it. UCLA and USC be non-existent. USC also lost 2 nights ago to Washington State, which if anybody that watches college basketball has heard Washington State's name in the last 10 years, you probably lived there. Not a program that does much. USC struggles. Pac-12 just struggles. I think it's going to be a bummer of a last season. I mean, right now at the top of that conference in the Pac-12, you got Arizona State and Oregon. Put that on your bingo card. Nah, I'm kidding.
Jeez,
But
big
it's
bingo
just
network
bananas.
today.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I picked it off of you, of course. Um, but conference play this year, I don't know. It's not a year where you have that one team that's going to run the table. Anybody can get got. If you look at the SEC, you got 5 teams still undefeated, and that goes from LSU, Alabama, Georgia. Georgia, 10-game winning streak. A team last year that struggled to get
Wait,
6 wins in conference
we're
play.
talking college basketball. 10-game win streak.
Hey, the Bulldogs, baby. 10-0 at home, 10-game win streak. All these teams are on fire. Auburn, 8-game win streak. Kentucky, who's my favorite to win the SEC. You can still get a good number on them. I think it's around 4 or 500. Love Kentucky to win the SEC this year. They're on a 6-game win streak. And honestly, I know kind of jumping the gun. I'd take Kentucky's money line tomorrow at plus 100 against Texas
Woo!
A&M. Uh, I think that's there's no such thing as automatic. But I love this Kentucky team. I think this is the best Kentucky team we've seen since Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, and all them.
Really?
That little 3 year stretch. This team is finally a lot of 5 star recruits. The last 6, 7 years that were 3 star recruits. They finally got some real 5 star recruits up there that's holding up the weight on their name. But it's just one of those years, and I think it's going to continue like this with the transfer portal. You can no longer have to recruit freshmen and build a program. You can pick up a bunch of role players from around the country and put together a pretty damn good team. And you're seeing a lot of college coaches, even in their first year, finding success. If you think about Providence in the Big East with Kim English taking over for Ed
Yeah.
Cooley, a completely new build roster through the transfer portal. It's just easier now to revamp and go. Like I'm gonna pick up some dogs that can play some defense, and they're a second, third year in the league. They're not nervous. They know how to score. They know the pace and the speed of the game. I think we're at the point we were at the one and dones for a while. I think now we're at the point where it is a underrated sophomore, junior taking that leap that is these teams are using to just make runs, and it's beautiful for the sport because instead of these guys just sitting at a small school where nobody ever hears of them competing, now you can put this collective group together and actually do something.
Yeah. No, the transfer portal has become huge in college basketball. That's my question. I think you might have basically answered it. So is anybody really? Is there really any conference that right now there's a clear winner that's about to run away with it? I mean, Gonzaga lost last night. Gonzaga.
Gonzaga is no longer the favorite. They were
Hmm.
minus 170 before that loss. I think I just looked, and they were the second favorite. It was about even money, but they're plus 110 now instead of minus 170. St. Mary's plus
Jeez.
145. Gonzaga also though their offense is what they're known for, struggling. They have games where they struggle to get to 70. Last night they lost at 76 because of missed free throws. They had a chance to go up three, missed a free throw, boom, the dagger three. 11 seconds left. They're at the free throw line up one. Could have made it a 3 point game. Should have went to overtime. That's the
Free
type of stuff
throws.
you got to execute. Hey, it's gonna be on my tombstone. I died because a college basketball game missed free throws, something like
Man,
that.
I'm telling you,
You see all these white hairs? I'm only 22 now. No, I'm kidding. A
it's
lot older than 22.
it's gonna be one of those things, man. I'm nothing. I think hurts me more than missed free throw. And the worst part too is now college kids nowadays, like you can't. I almost expect them to miss them more than they make them. So I'm already expecting just the heartbreak to happen, where it's just
That's what's
go to
sad
lean
because I'm
back.
getting there too because I can't
Oh,
deal with the stress of even thinking they're gonna make it.
dude, I'm telling you, you're just sitting there, you watch the kid shoot it, and then it's just like, bruh.
Yeah,
Like you said, all of a sudden they're down. down two, and then they hit a dagger three, and all of a sudden you're about not what minus 170 to plus 110. I know there's some bettors last night who are just really looking themselves in the mirror this morning after taking that Gonzaga minus 170 in a parlay of theirs. You just know somebody did.
At least 1,000 people. I mean, my best bet of the day yesterday was Gonzaga minus 8.5, and I will
Woo!
tell you one thing that is sweet. I love it when the team doesn't cover and actually lose. I want them to feel what I feel. I don't want them going home thinking they did something. Nah, brother, you didn't cover and you lost.
Didn't cover, got your butt whooped, and now you got to think about it. Yeah, so I don't think I really have anything more for you conference in. I think we're because how many conference games has there been really so far for most teams? Like three, four, I
Yeah,
think, right?
yeah. But in those 3, 4 games, we have witnessed true madness.
No, it's been really wild. I just wanted to use this episode more as an intro episode. We kind of talked about it a little bit. Going into next week, because what? Next week we'll have about six to seven. Following week we'll have about 10 to 12. And as the weeks go by, this will get more and more intriguing as the madness continues.
Next thing
Because
you know, it'll be February, baby, and we'll be getting
really,
ready for March.
it's already January 12th already.
No, it is crazy, man. About 3 weeks. Before I get out of here, I do want to shout out to McNeese State.
Well, hey, hey,
We
hey! I was about to say, or do they play Saturday? I was about to ask you one more. I got some stuff. I was
What
about
you
to ask you
asking
about
me?
Saturday. No, yeah, like Saturday. Go ahead. I was gonna say, feel free. I was about to ask you because I still got a little bit. We're good. I was gonna ask you, feel
Oh,
free to break down like Saturday, what's happening, all with that, and then just what look. Assuming you're good and we're on about this time next Friday, what do we have to look forward to Saturday and this upcoming week? I don't know how far you've looked ahead, but like, what do we got at least to look forward to in the next week
yeah.
of
I'm not
college
a big
basketball
look ahead
conference
guy.
play?
I hate to say it. I'm one of those day-to-day guys. I'm still kind of breaking down Saturday. I do have 4 bets that I've already placed for Saturday. Honestly, a couple of plus monies on the money lines. I like some teams. The thing that scares me though is we just witnessed. We said it. I mean, we're gonna beat this dead horse today. This is monumental what happened this week. Number one, two, three, and five losing on the road. I think the biggest thing now in college atmosphere, some reason home teams
I was just about to
really
ask you
do
about
have an
that.
advantage. And all of these bets I have for you tomorrow are road teams. So
Oh,
I just saying that as a precursor. But you got Wisconsin, who's undefeated in Big Ten play, leading the Big Ten. They're taking on Northwestern and Boo Booey. I think 8.5 is a little too big. That's going to be the first bet of the day, 11 a.m. sharp. Give me Northwestern plus the 8.5. I'm gonna be on that for sure. Seton Hall, they also play at 11. They're on the road against Butler. Seton Hall, I mean, everybody knows the story with St. Peter's and I can't think of his name, Coach Holloway. I'm trying to think of his first name, but Coach Holloway at Seton Hall, he
it's
really
with an
has.
S, I think.
I know he's lived up to the expectations and kind of exceeded it in my eyes. But I love Seton Hall this season. I love Butler and Thad Matta also. Butler at home is probably scary. I'm just gonna take the money line on Seton Hall. 3.5 is like I, sometimes it's just not enough points to make me feel like it's worth it. I'd rather just take the risk on them winning it outright. And plus 146 on that money line. I like Seton Hall. And then moving to the 1 o'clock games, I told you about Kentucky. They're probably my favorite bet tomorrow. Kentucky on the road at Texas A&M. We just watched A&M beat Tennessee. I believe that's the team who beat Tennessee. If it wasn't A&M, it was Mississippi State. They both white and burgundy, and I can't stand either one of them. So pardon me if I'm wrong about that. But I think Kentucky goes on the road and gets a victory in Texas A&M. I think Kentucky is a top. I think they should be a top 4 team in the country. I don't know why they haven't broken to the top 5. If you listen to my show, I've had them in the top 10 since the beginning of the season. And then the last bet that I have for you guys tomorrow, 2 p.m. sharp, Utah State. I just told you they won 14 in a row. They're on the road at UNLV, the running Rebels of Las Vegas. Give me Utah State to make it a 15-game win streak. You can take them on the road minus 1.5. Or the money line is minus 125. I'm gonna take the minus 1.5. I think they win it by at least 4 or 5. I think they win it comfortably.
Man, I was hoping you while you were still giving stuff out, of course, the second you end, now your stuff starts scrolling across the top. I was getting ready to do the little shout out thing, but
Oh
this
yeah,
stuff's going a
yeah,
little too slow.
yeah.
But before I let
It's
you
all
go and we
gravy.
get out of here, like said, the future of this is going to be obviously a quick one today, but the goal, like said, these are going to obviously get longer and longer and longer and longer as we get closer to madness. There's going to be more and more to talk about. Right, real quick before I ask you about one crucial bet for the night. Like I said, I know you said you didn't look ahead at too much. Is there anything you have at least to look forward to up till like next Friday, like college basketball wise? Like, is there anything like big news that should be like coming out, like coaches hiring, anything like that? Is there anything that like you've heard of potentially that could be like big news we hear about in the upcoming week?
No, I do want to address this. I don't know anything. I hear people rumbling about Mick Cronin and Mike Woodson. Just ignorant. They a solid program. Every year they're competing. We just watched Mick Cronin go to the Final Four twice in the last 4 or 5 seasons. Every now and again you get a batch of recruits, and I hate to say this, that just flat out stink. Indiana, they kind of messed up in the transfer portal. They were trying to recruit a bunch of guards in the portal, but they had guards coming back, so guards didn't want to commit and fight for a spot because not to
Yeah.
be too kids are soft. They don't want to compete no more. They just want to go get something handed to them and get on the court and play. And I think that has something to do with the road teams losing. They don't compete in practice anymore. They don't compete for spots anymore. It's like if I'm not starting, I am transferring. It's cool. Do your damn thing, big dog. I just said the benefits of it, how you can put a collective group together. But I miss the days of where practice was harder than games, and I think you're seeing it in road teams
Yeah.
losing. But as far as the next week, I'm looking at every team that we just talked about losing and how they bounce back. How will Purdue bounce back over the next 3 games? Big Ten is
Ooh,
always, no
I
matter
like
who they
that.
play, it's going to be tough. How is Kansas going to bounce back after only scoring 60 against Central Florida? Tennessee, that one's more respect. Tennessee and Houston's more respectable. Both of those games was tied up with less than a minute left, and the home teams just happened to slip away with a win, one or two bad possessions here and there. But Kansas and Purdue, they really got something handed to them, and I want to see how those two teams bounce back for sure. Also want to see how UConn keeps playing without Donovan Clingan. Samson Johnson's been amazing. Tristan Newton's been amazing. So can UConn really keep this up without their star big man, quote unquote?
Yeah.
Those are two things I definitely want to look at. And the last thing that my eye is on personally, I've been watching this Memphis team like a hawk. I want to see them start covering. They play in a weak conference. Some reason since conference play started, they've gone from. I mean, they beat. I think it was Tennessee. I might be wrong on that. This is all off the top of the head. They beat some team that was ranked high by like 15 early in the season, and now they're playing scrub teams and they're going to overtime, only winning by 3. They were a 19-point favorite the other night, ended up in overtime. It's just I want to see Memphis focused. If they could regain that focus and really be a top team, I think they have the talent to be a top 10 team in this country. I think they have the talent to be a Final Four team. So I want to see them kind of just regain that focus.
Man, I like it. Have something to look forward to until we get you on back on next week. Real quick before I ask you about this last bet, give me your top five real quick. Like just off the top of your head, who do you think will be the top five coming by the time we get the next poll?
At number one, I'm gonna go UConn. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. At number one, I'm gonna go UConn. I'm gonna go Kentucky at number five.
1 and 5. Ooh, we got the bread out the way. I like that. Now we got all the meat and all the important stuff coming up.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying
No,
to
no,
think.
you're all good. I kind of just
I
threw you
don't
on the
think
spot. I was just curious.
I don't think Houston should fall that much. Yeah, it's funny because I usually do my rankings Sunday or Monday night after the big Saturday, but I definitely think UConn should be number one. I think Kentucky should move from 6 to 5. I mean, if they could win tomorrow, they could jump from to 4 to 3. I still think Houston should be in there around 4. So we're gonna go UConn.
I'm just curious because
Man,
real
this is
quick to
tough.
interrupt you, I'd say a lot of people say like Purdue they shouldn't punish Purdue, Houston, all them for losing too much. I'm just curious how that little like roadblock in the middle kind of gets like who gets what where and why and how.
See, for me, now this is becoming a recurrent theme for Purdue. I don't think they should be out of the top 10, but definitely not in the top 5, especially
They
when
do
you
get
got
the
teams
one a
like North
lot and just lose it
Carolina.
right away. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you got teams like North Carolina, who I think should be in the top 5. Sheesh, this is a tough one. Auburn's on an 8-game win streak. I'm gonna just throw it out there. We're gonna go UConn. We're gonna go Arizona. We're gonna go Kentucky, North Carolina. I don't want to say Wisconsin and
Just say
San Diego
Purdue
State.
then.
That's my top 5.
I don't mind it at all. But real quick before I let you
That's
go
my
out of
top
here,
5.
I love it. Before I let you go out of here, Hawaii when people lose their money on the football games, college basketball, whatever it's night, and it's 12 p.m. and they're at the Mars late at night. Do you like UC Riverside plus 7.5, or do you like Hawaii minus 7.5? If you have to pick a side for the late night people who
See,
need it.
No, yeah, the old I lost everything. Last hope is on Hawaii. Man, that's a good question. I don't want to stray people the wrong way. I'm one of those guys that refuses to bet on Hawaii games because of the stigma that I'm trying to find it real quick.
Man, I do
Hawaii
really appreciate you having you
Reserve.
on. I wanted to give you a little throw a quick see if I can get a quick little fastball by you real quick.
I can't. I don't even see that game.
No, I honestly just scrolled as far down as I could at my phone. It was the most bottom game I could see. It could be a week from now. I
Oh,
don't even.
Saturday night. I got you.
Yeah, 12
UC
a.m.
Riverside plus 7.5, guaranteed.
Love it, man. I appreciate
If
it.
not, hey, when all else fails, you just bet the over, right, and root for points.
And by the time you wake up, you probably won't even remember you placed it. I do appreciate
Yes, sir.
having you
Nah,
on, though. I hope we can get you back on now more currently. I wanted to do it, but obviously holidays came in the way, so it obviously was like, probably should wait a little bit. But yeah, now it's basically madness time. That's what's crazy. We're gonna be seeing a lot more of this wood and a lot less of the grass field. Makes me sad.
nah, I love it, man. I appreciate you having me on. I can talk college hoops all damn day. Final four, real quick. Memphis, North Carolina, Kentucky. Why did I forget that? Memphis, North Carolina, Kentucky,
Purdue,
UConn.
mm.
It's gonna be a blue Final Four, people.
Blue
Thank you, man.
Bloods.
I appreciate it.
No, I do really appreciate you, man. Oh, by the way, I appreciate you, man. Really do appreciate having you on. I want to get more. I want to get more of this going. I'm really excited to have you back on because of college basketball and everything. Because I mean, I'm just a big old football stooge. I need a master dribbler, to come in here and kind of maestro this
Yes,
offense
sir.
that we got going. So hopefully I get to see you again next Friday. We'll be in touch, obviously, and be look be back on the lookout, people, for a JC Pod episode 122 on Tuesday.